Hello, Freedom Preppers. Perrin Lovett here for FPTV, and I'm out today on a little test run in the covert bug-out vehicle. And the past 2 days, I've been looking around for a video geared towards preppers about the utter madness and the race riots that took place in Charlottesville, Virginia this weekend. And there's plenty out there. I may throw in a link to one or two below, but I couldn't really find one that talked about the actual aspect of surviving civil unrest, so I decided to make my own. Undoubtedly, you've at least heard something about these protests, counter-protests, whatever it was. Basically, it was two groups of leftist idiots converging just to fight each other, and they've been doing this all year, and now people are getting killed. So it's very serious. Laying all the moronic politics aside of these blue-haired communists and these live-action role-playing Nazi idiots, we can still learn something from all this sadness. First and foremost, they tend to advertise when these things are going to be. This Kessler guy that I'd never heard of, white supremacist, neo-Confederate, whatever he is, former Obama voter, if that tells you anything, he got this thing together to protest the removal of the statue of Robert E. Lee. And thousands of people showed up on both sides. If these things are advertised, don't be there. Do not attend these events. Don't go near them. Stay away. That's your best chance of staying out of trouble. The best defense is just not being there. If you're driving down the street in Dallas, Richmond, Boston, wherever, and you happen to run across a mob of Klansmen or Black Lives Matter thugs, turn around and leave. Get out as fast as you can. If you absolutely have to be there, and I don't really see why anyone would, unless you maybe live there or you're running a business, then you need to take extreme precautions. Take a look at some of the many videos out there, especially of the muscle car plowing into the crowd. It's pretty disturbing to watch, but it does illustrate some points. These things happen fast, and they cause incredible damage. You need to have your head on a swivel at all times. If you're going to be there, it pays to be there in a group, and it pays to look as dull and ordinary as possible. You don't want one of these sides picking you out as being part of the other side. If you have to be there, if you have to be out in public anywhere where large groups gather, if you can, I would suggest being armed. And if you're armed in groups, so much the better. I don't favor the open display of weapons. And as an interesting note, there were a lot of militia groups that showed up. A lot of guys wearing body armor, wearing helmets, openly carrying ARs, and there were a lot of them. And nobody messed with them. And oddly enough, for all these guns present, no shots were fired. So that shows a little bit of intelligent restraint. And there were decent people, I'm sure, on both sides that were there to protest what they see as injustice, to defend what they see as their besieged heritage. Those guys aren't the problems. The problems are obvious. It's these maniacs looking to trigger and fight the other side. I think I'm going to throw in a link to one of Vox Day's videos on Periscopes. He's a champion of the alt-right, a guy who does a lot of describing of what the alt-right is. And I think in the video I've got that I'm going to put in here, he describes his utter disgust with multiple elements, specifically the people in love with Adolf Hitler, a failed idiot. And those are the people that you really, really need to avoid. If you can't avoid them, just keep your eyes open. Don't start anything. If you absolutely have to, then defend yourselves. Just be aware that defending yourself, depending on where you are and who you're defending against, can open up a whole can of legal worms. There are reports that the guy in the Charger, the muscle car, was attacked by these the communists, we'll call them, and he panicked, hit the gas, and ran over people. That would be a good defense if that's actually the case. He may have just been a lunatic white supremacist that wanted to kill people. Hopefully that will get sorted out at a trial. In previous Freedom Prepper articles, I've written about using your car to blast your way out of a mob. If you're being attacked in your car, use the car as a weapon. You want to do that only as a last resort. Any kind of defensive tactic is a last resort, and it can lead to other problems that might actually present the scenario of being judged by 12 rather than carried by 6. Terrible, terrible things to contemplate. These are terrible events in American history. They've happened before, and I think, unfortunately, we're going to be seeing a whole lot more of them in the future. The best thing you can do is just mind your own business and stay away. Stay away from idiots wherever you can. I'm going to try to put down some more links down here, maybe to some stories, and maybe to that Vox Day video. I think that's a long one. You probably want to watch it. He is a really intelligent man with some really thought-provoking ideas. Anyway, stay safe out there, and God bless America. God bless all of you, and thanks for watching Freedom Prepper.